Welcome to Shakespeare Full Circle, a journey of a circuitous nature into the mind of the Bard of Avon, or as you become more familiar, Uncle Will. I'm your host, Kari Marshall. Erysichthon, the king of Thessaly, decided one fine spring morning that his palace needed to be spruced up, which would require a substantial amount of timber, oak, not spruce, as it happens. When his workmen refused to cut down the wood sacred to the goddess of the hunt, Demeter, he flew into a rage and proceeded to fell the grandest tree of them all, a giant oak that was home to a dryad. As the tree crashes to the forest floor, the dryad curses Erysichthon, which is heard by Demeter herself. The goddess sends a nymph to call upon her cosmic antithesis, Limos, the dark god of famine, to exact revenge upon the arrogant Thessalian king. In the dead of night, Limos steals into the bedchamber of Erysichthon, where she breathes into the mouth of the sleeping king, the serpent Hunger. When Erysichthon awakes, he finds himself rather peckish and orders his cooks to produce a feast for breakfast. But the more he ate, the more hunger consumed him. Weeks passed, and his insatiable appetite could not be assuaged, but only grew more intense, until no food was left. Such was the unquenchable appetite of the hangry king that he sold not only every possession and finery he possessed to purchase what he must have felt were only morsels to his ever-mounting burning hunger, but his entire palace as well. But still, the ache within him continued to grow with every draught and mouthful he swallowed. The situation became so dire that Erysichthon, in desperation, sold his daughter Mestra into servitude to buy food. Thus, Erysichthon became perhaps the first person in history to eat himself out of house and home. It's likely that Uncle Will would have known of the tale of the Thessalian king when he coined that phrase, as it appears in the second part of his 1600 play Henry IV. In Act 2, we find ourselves in the Boar's Head Tavern, where Mistress Quickly is complaining about her lodger, who we have met on a few occasions, the sack-drinking glutton and holder of voracious appetites of several different kinds, not only cuisine-related, Sir John Falstaff.
Your Grace, I am a poor widow of Eastcheap, and he's arrested at my suit.
For what sum?
It is more than for some, my lord. It's for all I have. He hath eaten me out of house and home. He hath put all my substance into that fat belly of his, but I'll have some of it out.
Now, it still remains unclear as to whether the image of house and home was a bit of poetic alliterative effort, or whether, as has been argued, that the differentiation between house and home has some significance. A house is your dwelling, but home brings up images of something far more personal and profound, being treated so disrespectfully by callous, work-shy layabout. Even if he is a lodger, who, as we find out, has not only gorged himself on food and drink, but has been reluctant to pay his bill. The sentiment has, of course, popped up in films, TV, and advertising. There was also, of course, the wonderful English children's story from the late 60s about a famished feline.
The Tiger Who Came to Tea by Judith Kerr.
I suppose the first time I came across the phrase was in my freshman year in high school, when my normally cool-headed mother explained in exasperation to my father as to why all the pistachios, Pop-Tarts, Nutter Butter peanut butter sandwich cookies, microwave meals, and 3 boxes of cereal somehow vanished from the pantry and freezer overnight. It was that my 2 best friends, Ron and Kelvin, were staying over. Unfortunately, unlike Mistress Quickly, my mum couldn't really threaten to toss us out into the street like Falstaff. After all, we were only 15 years old and didn't know any better. That's my story anyway, and much like the relationship between the roof of my mouth and the Nutter Butters, I'm sticking to it. Well, alas and alack, my friends, that's all we have time for. Join us again next time for another circuitous journey into the mind of Uncle William. I'm Kari Marshall. Farewell until next time. Shakespeare Full Circle is a production of WGTE Public Media. You can learn more and download all episodes at wgte.org/sfc or wherever you get your podcasts.